Hello and welcome to Convinced Catholicism, a place for all things Catholic. Today I have two very similar books. One might think that these are the same book if they weren't looking carefully enough, but I have the St. Augustine's prayer book and the St. Ambrose prayer book. And this is a video titled Anglo-Catholic Showdown. It's actually not totally accurate to call both of these books Anglo-Catholic, as the St. Ambrose prayer book in particular is designed for Western Rite Orthodoxy, though if one is Anglo-Catholic or personal ordinariate, they would not have a problem using said book. Now, a few things to get out of the way. First of all, this is one version that is published of the St. Augustine's prayer book. The other one is a smaller blue version, and this one is published by I believe it's called the Forward Movement. Yes, there it is. And this is in accordance with the 1979 Book of Common Prayer. This is the more widely available version. The other version is technically still in print, but it's a little bit obscure. And the other note is this is the first edition of the St. Ambrose prayer book. There is a second edition, though I'm really not sure what the differences are besides the cover. The cover on the second edition is a red vinyl-esque material. In fact, Orthodox Review attempted to review the second edition, though he got a first edition. Okay, so at least it said first edition here. So if someone in the comments can please tell me the difference between this first edition and the second edition, I'd really appreciate that, because I have searched and I can't really find any real major explanations, maybe perhaps changes in typos, right? So what we're going to do with this video today, as you could probably guess, is kind of compare and contrast and see which one is best for general use. Now, this, again, does not have a imprimatur from a Catholic bishop, so these are not official Catholic books, though many of the devotions are perfectly in accordance or in alignment with Roman Catholic or Western Catholic or Latin Rite Catholic teaching, right? So first and foremost, let's take a look at what the table of contents for each say. It's even got the same, well, actually, these are red, but first of all, this starts with a collect, right? But let's take a look at the contents here. So, Christian obligations, Christian seasons and holy days. So, remember Christian soul. So I think you can see here that the table of contents are similar in the fact that they have very much the same concepts to understand as a Christian: daily prayer, the liturgy, and some other devotions in addition to that. We can take a look at the next page, and we can see again the same kind of deal here. And you can pause to take a look if you want. But devotions to the Holy Trinity, devotions to different kinds of things, right? Holy hour, so on and so forth, right? So it would be a long video if I went through all of these things. And I've reviewed both of these books, so you can go and check out the individual reviews. But if we're talking about what is the best book for a Western Rite liturgical Christian, I would say let's take a look at the daily prayers that they offer, the liturgies that they offer, as well as what types of devotions they offer, and maybe some of the translations, right? So daily prayer, this has an explanation as to what daily prayer is and references the Book of Common Prayer, this 1979 version specifically. So For those of you who do not like the 1979, which may be many of you, this book is not for you. The other book, I may reference the 1928, but we'll see. So we have the Canticles of the Benedictus. We have the evening canticle of the Magnificat. And then we have prayer for morning. And it's very much, going to have litanies and different little canticles and so on. But this is meant to be used in addition to the Book of Common Prayer. So this very much is not an independent book. If you have the 1979, you like the 1979, this is a great prayer book, especially for those of an Anglo-Catholic persuasion. Form of evening prayer, evening collects, and then Compline. So we can see that Compline is very much bare bones. Not a lot to Compline. Kind of just a litany and some introductory prayers. Then we take a look at the liturgy, and this is something that I've complained about criticized in the past, is that you don't really know when the liturgy starts or finishes. There's not really the words of the Mass as you might imagine them to be. You might have some confusion as to where it starts, right? So there's some introductory prayers, private devotions, but where does the actual Mass begin? Well, here we go. Entrance rite. That we just have this framework for it. Okay? And then we have devotions. The devotions in here are great. So again, this is not meant to be an independent book. This is meant to be a supplement. I would say that the devotions in here are extensive. You have all kinds. And you can see that here, right? Now let's take a look at the Ambrose prayer book. Christian obligations, right? So morning prayers. We have like an actual liturgical structure. And then we would do the Benedictus or the litany if time permits. And I like that it says if time permits, because people are busy. And I think people feel guilty if they do not complete a prayer a certain way. And that's a shame. The evening prayers, right? And then here is where I feel the book. Well, let's take a look at bedtime prayers, right? So at least this book has a framework for Compline. This one really does not have it at all, right? So no Compline. I think it would have been very nice to include the order of Compline, considering that it does not change at all during the day or the year or the week or anything like that. And it's pretty short, but here we have the prayer. Notice the nice labels: prayer before Mass, and then we have the Holy Mass of St. Gregory. This is very much the Tridentine Mass, but translated in English and made to theologically match more the Orthodox Church. I have brought this book to a Latin Mass before, and it lined up fairly well. Again, this is more of a structure of the Mass, but you do get the priests and the servers' responses, and you do have the words of the Eucharistic prayer. And something else too is the prayer of the Holy Mass of Saint Tikhon, which is very much basically the 1928 Book of Common Prayer, again made in accordance with the Orthodox theology, right? So if you were a personal ordinariate Christian, it won't be perfect, but you'll get an idea. And then we have these little explanations as well. The devotions are pretty good in this as well. Honestly, they're pretty similar. You're not going to find many differences at all. Overall, I would say that this book is better for the general Western Rite, High Church Liturgical Christian, Western Rite Orthodox, High Church Anglican, Latin Mass Catholic, Novus Ordo Catholics who are looking for some nice devotions to add to their life. This one, you really need the 1979 Book of Common Prayer. But if you are a 1979 Book of Common Prayer Christian and you are looking more into Anglo-Catholicism or High Church Anglicanism, this book is fantastic. It's a nice little supplement to the Book of Common Prayer. But overall, I think that these books are an interesting snapshot into a culture that not a lot of Catholics are really aware of. I think a lot of the Catholics in America, at least, view the Anglican Church as one of two things: either super, super similar and, just without the Pope, or Catholic light, or they have hijacked the Mass and they've, been very socially progressive and so on and so forth, right? Neither is exactly true. We need to understand that just like how there are traddy Catholics and how there are progressive Catholics and how there are neo-Cats and all different flavors of Catholicism, and some of you may think yours is the only right version or whatever, there are many different flavors of Anglicanism, and this one in particular is rather close. And then we kind of have that middle ground where we have the Personal Ordinariate. So, and the Personal Ordinariate has some great books, but some of them are not very widely available. Meanwhile, these are. And I'm not saying a Personal Ordinariate person should buy these in lieu of a Personal Ordinariate book, but this is a great option if money is tight and it's out of stock, right? Because these things, especially the Divine Worship Daily Office book for North America, that is out of print often, and a lot of people say don't even bother. But Anglo-Catholic Showdown, I would say that the Western Rite Orthodox book wins only because the structure of the Mass is much more complete. Other than that, these are some interesting books, and you can check out my reviews of them as well. Thank you very much, and God bless.